Hello, this is Tree Hugger Dude again. I just wanted to make this video because I've been reading this amazing book by Dr. Ling called Mastering the Addicted Mind. And it had made me go through all these like revelations and I really enjoyed it, and it really has been helping my reboot. So I just wanted to share those ideas. They sound kind of simple, so uh, maybe it's intuitive to some of you, but I'll go through them anyway because they weren't so intuitive to me and they really helped me. Okay, so the first thing that I read in his book that really resonated in me was this idea of the personal appearance of the person, the personal appearance in general. Like, he was talking about how addicts many times don't really care so much about the way that they look and their hygiene and their body and their fitness. They're so kind of preoccupied with their addiction that they just kind of let themselves go, so to speak, and they look terrible. They're not clean. They don't bathe themselves as often as they should. They don't work out. They don't get a haircut. You know, all these things. And that's problematic. I never made the connection, so I was really impressed with the connection that he made. So he was saying an important aspect to recovery is that the person feel that they respect themselves, that they have a positive self-image, that they have like this new kind of positive way of viewing themselves that's different from their perspective on themselves before when they were an addict. So instead of being like ashamed of themselves or feeling really down and depressed, that they kind of feel that they look at themselves in a more positive way. And he was talking about how showering every day, getting a haircut, buying new clothes, looking good, trying to feel good through exercise and good grooming habits, how that could help the person kind of develop a new self-image to kind of help them through their reboot to prevent relapse. And I thought that that really connected with me because I've felt like a dirty kind of I've felt really ashamed about my addiction, like and I have really not taken as good care of myself, like exercise wise and hygiene wise, and like skipping showers and all of that. And I haven't really been dressing very nicely because I've been like just not paying attention to it. And that when I read that, I was like, oh my God, he's right. You know, I have to try a little bit harder. You know, if I see myself as like a dirty schmuck who's like doing all this terrible stuff, then that's how I'm gonna probably behave, and that's probably gonna be a part of my mindset. You know, whereas if I feel like I'm clean, I'm attractive, I'm healthy, I'm fit, I'm probably not going to act like a dirty schmuck. If you feel like a dirty schmuck, you're probably going to act like a dirty schmuck. Whereas if you feel like a well-rounded, attractive, stable person, you might act like a well-rounded, stable person. So that was a real epiphany for me, and so I've been trying to make some changes, and I think it's been a really positive point. Number one. Number two, another thing that he said that really stuck with me was this idea of having non-drug memories. So what are non-drug memories? So obviously, if you have lived addicted to something, you have this entire kind of bank of memories of like what it was like when you were high, or what it was like when you were in that lifestyle of looking for drugs and stealing to get drugs. And okay, these are all examples of like potential memories. But if you've been doing like a recovery, you should also, depending on how long you've lasted, because if you've only lasted like an hour or something, you don't probably have many memories. But if you've lasted like a couple days, a couple weeks, a month, 2 months, then you should have like a bank, even if it's a small one, a bank of like recovery memories or non-drug memories. And these memories can be really helpful because you should be able to like sense the benefits, you know, and that's something that I definitely could remember, like on my NoFap, like I could remember having like these really, really, like waking up with like these iron hard erections, like even painful erections, which is supposed to be like, you know, a cause for concern if it's from other sources, like if you've taken a pill and you get a painful erection, you know, you should like call a doctor or something. But here it was like different. It was like, oh my gosh, you know, this is such a painfully hard erection. I've never been this hard in my life. Um, that was really positive though. I really like that, you know, and the sensitivity, just rolling around in bed, so aroused. Um, that was another positive. So his point in that section was that you should remember the positives of your recovery process um, through these non-drug memories, and that should be an important motivator for you to stay clean and to do the right thing. Just having those memories in your mind and being like right when you're like considering relapse, just to think, okay, no, I'm not going to relapse. I remember what it was like when I was clean. I remember I felt super hard. I remember I was really sensitive to stimuli. I remember my social anxiety went away. I remember that I felt amazing. Whatever you felt in your recovery, you should use that as a type of motivation for you to stay clean. That was what he suggested in the book, and I think it was a really, really good suggestion. Okay, number three. Number three was something that I was reading when he was talking about our like the things that we think of when we're right about to relapse. And something he said that also really stuck with me was this idea of having like a second voice in our heads, which, I mean, I'm not schizophrenic or anything like that, but it was something that I really, really identified with because he was saying that when you are right about to relapse, obviously you have your rational brain that's like, okay, this is wrong. I want to be clean. I want to conquer this addiction. You know, the rational brain that's saying all these things that reflect how you actually feel. There's that brain. But there's also another brain, which is the addict's brain. And that voice can be very, very powerful. And obviously that addict is going to try to say anything to try to get you to relapse because they really want that dopamine surge, right? And so they'll say many things to rationalize what you're doing or to minimize the damage. And that's specific to each person. So your addict's brain might say something different from what my addict's brain would say. But I remember that super, super well because this one time when I was like on the cusp of relapsing, I had those two voices in my head and I knew that what I was doing was wrong. And then in the heat of the moment, this really clear voice said to me, I don't want to recover. I don't want to recover. And it was, at the moment, I didn't really question it because, I don't know, something about that voice was so powerful, like the voice of temptation. Yeah, I don't want to recover. It also said, like, you know, if you're going to relapse, you might as well, like, enjoy it. You know, you might as well do it, like, fully. It's not going to be that harmful. You know, all these things that the voice said, but that was one of them that really stuck with me, that I don't want to recover. And so I ended up listening to that addict's voice and I relapsed and I felt really ashamed afterwards. I felt really terrible. And I just kept on thinking, how could I listen to that voice? You know, like, I don't want to recover. Obviously I do want to recover. Like, why would I do that? Right. But, so what Dr. Ling was saying was that we know that we're going to have this addict's voice in our head, so we have to be prepared to like talk back to this voice and to understand like the fact that this voice is our addiction. This voice is our unconscious desire to remain addicted to this whether it be drugs or porn or whatever. So we have to be prepared to say, for example, my example would have been when my voice said, I don't want to recover. I would have been like, yeah, I do want to recover, because I remember what it was like being clean. I remember all the positive experiences, and I want to have that for the rest of my life. So I do want to recover. And like responding to that addict's voice, according to him, could help you like conquer that tempting moment and like take a step back and be like, whoa, okay, I'm not going to relapse. I remember what I needed. There's this addict in my head telling me that I should do it, but I know that they're crazy and that I have to do the right thing. So that was his suggestion. And yeah, so I feel like that book has really, really been helpful. I would recommend it to anybody doing NoFap or anybody trying to conquer an addiction in general. It's a really light read. It's very interesting, and it's not too, it's definitely not like a boring read, at least not for me. I've really been driving through it, you know, like reading it with a lot of interest and passion. So I would recommend it to you. But anyway, those are my 3 suggestions. So just to recap, number 1, change your way of looking at yourself by taking better care of your body, grooming habits, improving your hygiene, looking good, so that you can start over again and say, I'm not a dirty schmuck, I'm a attractive, successful, stable person, and that's why I'm going to stay on this program. I'm not a dirty schmuck, so I will not act like a dirty schmuck. That sums it up better. Number 2 is the idea of making sure that you have these memories of what it was like when you were clean, and using those memories of those positive memories to motivate you to stay clean. So for me, it's painful erections. For you, it might be having an easier time speaking to women, or feeling like you're not as distracted. So whole host of things. So whatever it is for you, whatever positive aspect of your recovery that you remember, just keep that non-drug memory in your mind and use it to motivate you to stay clean. So whenever you're about to relapse, be like, no, I remember I felt this way when I was clean, and this is why I'm doing it, so I'm going to stay clean. And number 3, being able to understand the addict mind, the addict voice inside your head right before your relapse, and in general, especially before your relapse though, and being able to speak back to this voice and to just kind of diffuse this voice and not let yourself be governed by this voice that will try to rationalize temptation or minimize the damage or just get you to submit to your desires. So just understand the addict's mind in your head, or the addict's voice, and try to speak back to it and not let yourself dogmatically follow it. So those are my suggestions. I hope you like them. I suggest you read Dr. Ling's book, Mastering the Addicted Mind, and these are just some thoughts that I wanted to share with you. So thanks so much for listening. If you have any other suggestions or any other thoughts, I invite you to post them below, and have a good day. Thanks so much.